Hi, friends and family. Um, Here we go again. I have some more stuff I want to talk about and share with you. And so, another late night video after everyone else is asleep. uh, Hope you're all doing well. Posted today just about how blessed we've been by our community's support. And just want to encourage you to go find a medical provider in your life, someone who works in healthcare, and do something small for them. We've been so loved and so supported, but I know there's a lot of people out there who haven't or who don't have the same community that we have. So, yeah, go bless your people. Okay, several things I wanted to talk about tonight, as we've had some new developments. And yeah, different, I wanted to talk about the different stages or different ways the illness can look. And again, when to seek medical attention. And wanted to talk about the whole mask thing. And again, what to do if you get sick. So some of it's going to be repeat, but I'm going to try to keep this video shorter. So there's in my mind, there's kind of 4 types of coronavirus sickness. The first one is what we call asymptomatic. So there's seeming to be I don't know if I could say significant, but an amount of the population that is contracting the virus and not having any symptoms at all, which is great for them. Crummy for the rest of us, because they do still have, they are still putting off the virus, and they are still contagious, but they're not having symptoms. So that's part of the reason that it's probably spreading. They're having these family outbreaks, and they can't figure out who's the person who brought it into the family, because there's asymptomatic carriers that are introducing it into isolated families. So that's the first one. The second one is a mild illness, where you just have a few vague symptoms that don't really phase you much. Maybe you feel a little short of breath for a few days and it's kind of weird, or you have a sore throat, or some other kind of something's just a little off. And then the third bracket is more like a flu-like illness, where you feel really crummy and you have body aches and you're coughing, or you have diarrhea, or you just feel horrible. And just depending on how you are as a person, if you handle things like that or whether you don't. I know you've probably all seen the funny jokes about the man flu, but now it's kind of the corona flu. Some people handle it better than others. And then the fourth bracket is when people start getting short of breath, and they're kind of heading down the track of getting more critically ill. And sometimes not critically ill, but they just need medical support. So let me go back through and talk about those again. So the people who are asymptomatic, they're seeming to be younger people. And there's really no way for us to know unless we were testing every citizen. It's hard to know how many people are out there asymptomatic, because really the only way that we've found asymptomatic people is by testing people who are in families with other infected family members, and the patients come back positive. A lot of times they're kids, but they have found adults, young adults, middle-aged adults. I don't know if they've tested older adults. I haven't read anything about that, but so that's part of the reason that we need to socially isolate, is because there's people walking around out there who are carrying the virus and don't know it. Then the second one, the mild symptoms, that can progress to, you might have mild symptoms for a week, and then the next week you have more severe, or not severe, but more you're more symptomatic, where you have body aches and fevers. But for the first week of your illness, you only had mild symptoms. So another reason that it's super important to isolate with any symptoms as much as possible from your family, and just to be aware that any kind of little symptom you have should just flag your brain of, I need to be careful. I need to be even more careful at home with my little isolated group that I'm currently with. There's really no reason to get tested. If we were doing mass testing and trying to track people, that would be different. We are doing a lot more tests than we were at first, but we're still only testing, like, we don't have the testing ability to just test the whole Central Valley. So testing does us no good, as there is no current treatment, and the treatments that we are trying, we don't have enough for the whole community. So those treatments need to go to the critically ill patients. So so don't feel like if you have mild symptoms, or if you have even just regular flu-like symptoms where you have body aches, you feel really crummy, you just want to lay in bed and sleep, you feel terrible. You may feel absolutely terrible with coronavirus. I've seen it. But that doesn't necessarily mean you need medical attention yet. Either of those two, no need to seek medical attention or testing. The need is to take care of yourself at home. Isolate yourself from your family as much as possible if you can, and be very aware of your hand hygiene, covering your cough, and so forth. Another little tidbit, I've been hearing that you're infective 2 days before developing symptoms, if you are going to develop symptoms. Just also being aware that you could be infected and not have symptoms yet, but yet be spreading the virus. It kind of goes in the same category as being asymptomatic. So like for my husband and I just feel like we're very aware of the fact that we could develop symptoms at any time, just because we're both being exposed at work. Even though we're using all the correct PPE, I don't know if we know exactly. I think in a year or two, who knows when we'll know what the correct PPE is for coronavirus, but we're using what we have. And we're thankful to have PPE at this point. So we're just assuming that we're infected and acting appropriately. I feel like that's kind of our take on it. It's kind of the take we want the whole population to have, is just assuming that you're infected, or that you're, that you have the virus. And then, I just want to emphasize, you might feel really, really crummy with coronavirus, but you don't need medical treatment until you develop shortness of breath. Or a severe shortness of breath. There's been a lot of people feeling a little bit short of breath, just like, I just have to breathe a little faster, or, every once in a while I have to take a deep breath. That's different. When you feel like you're not getting enough oxygen,